Today on Sugar Spun Run, I'll be showing you how to make kitchen sink cookies. Hey Sugar Spun Bakers, so today I'm sharing a pretty simple cookie recipe. These are my kitchen sink cookies, and I call them that because I throw in just about everything except the kitchen sink. We've got caramel, we've got pretzels, we've got M&Ms, we've got chocolate chips. I really think you're going to love these cookies. At least I know I love them. Now, to get started, you'll want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. There's no chilling needed for this recipe, so you can go ahead and get that oven started right now. Next, you are going to need 1 cup or 2 sticks of unsalted butter, and you want this to be softened. We're going to add these to a large bowl. And we're also adding 1 cup of firmly packed dark brown sugar. You can use light brown sugar instead if you prefer, but I just like the extra flavor from the dark brown sugar. And we're also adding 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. Now, another ingredient that we're adding to these cookies is 1 packet of instant vanilla pudding. You could use butterscotch pudding or even caramel pudding if you prefer. I'm just using vanilla today. And this is, of course, just the dry mix. You're not going to actually prepare the pudding before adding it to the batter. Now we're going to cream these ingredients together until they're well combined and light and fluffy. Now you can absolutely use a stand mixer if you prefer. Today I'm just using my electric hand mixer. This mixer is intense. I always have to be careful with it because even on low speed it likes to send my ingredients flying. So the next thing we're going to be adding is 1 egg and 1 large egg yolk. I like using this extra yolk instead of a whole extra egg because it helps make the cookies a little more rich, a little more tender, a little more chewy. There's 1 egg, and then let's get rid of this white here. Add an extra egg yolk. We're also going to stir in just a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. We only need a little bit because we're already going to be getting a good bit of flavor from that pudding. So we'll stir everything together again. Just going to use my spatula to make sure everything is well combined. So we'll set this aside, and now we'll need a separate bowl for our dry ingredients. You're going to need 2½ cups of all-purpose flour. We're going to add a teaspoon of baking powder, a teaspoon of baking soda, and a teaspoon of salt. We'll just whisk everything together until it's well combined. Okay, that looks pretty good. So we'll bring back our wet ingredients, and we're just going to gradually add our dry ingredients until everything's completely combined. And you'll want to use your electric mixer for this again. Just going to add the flour in about 3 parts. And now comes the fun part where we get to add everything but the kitchen sink. So you can add pretty much anything you want to this cookie dough, but I do have some preferences that I'm going to recommend. The first thing I like to add is about 2 cups of pretzels. Now you'll want to break these up. You can either do that with a rolling pin or you can just do it by hand before you add them to the dough. If I'm making these with my stand mixer, I just toss them into my mixer and the beater will break them up for me. I'm also adding about a 1/2 cup of mini M&Ms, 2/3 cups of toffee bits. Now, sometimes these are available at the store just as toffee bits. Sometimes they're coated in milk chocolate. Either one is completely fine. About a 1/2 cup of semisweet or milk chocolate chips. And then I also love to add some caramel. So you can use those caramel bits. You know, you can get those little balls of caramel at the store. You would need 2/3 cup of those, or you can buy those soft caramels. And I'm just going to cut them into 4 pieces. If you like smaller bits of caramel, you could cut them into 6. Just break these up and add them in. If you're using soft caramels, you'll need about 15 or 16. Now we'll use our spatula to stir everything together until it's completely combined. Or we'll switch to a spoon because I'm worried I'm going to break my spatula. Dough gets pretty stiff. That's mostly because of the pudding that we've added to it. Once you have all your ingredients combined, all that's left to do is bake these cookies. Like I said, there's no chilling required, which is really nice. So I'm going to be using my 1½ tablespoon-sized cookie scoop, and I'm just going to scoop a rounded portion of dough. So I have about 2 tablespoons of dough per cookie. And then because I like my cookies to look, well, I need a little bit more cookie dough here. Because I like my cookies to look nice and uniform and round, I'm just going to briefly roll each ball in my palms, or between my palms, before baking. Now you'll want to space these cookies about 2 inches apart because they are going to spread some in the oven. watch the pretzel pieces when you're rolling your cookie dough because they can be a little sharp. All right, now we'll take these over to our 350 Fahrenheit preheated oven where they're going to need to bake for about 10 minutes. You'll want to let these cookies cool completely on their baking sheet, and then once they've cooled, you can go ahead and dig in. That is how easy it is to make these kitchen sink cookies. I really think you're going to love them. Let me know if you try different substitutions or different add-ins instead of the ones that I've used here today. If you guys tried this recipe out, I would love to know what you think. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. It's good.